Call now and learn more. 877-247-1581. 877-247-1581. 877-247-1581.
Attention all business owners and creative minds. Do you need a unique and personalized touch for your products? Look no further than Romika Laser Engraving and Custom Designs. I'm Ron Phillips, co-owner of Romika Designs. We offer custom laser engraving services for a variety of products, including promotional items and corporate or personal gifts. With state-of-the-art equipment and a team of skilled designers, we can engrave intricate designs on virtually any material. Whether it's a special message, a company logo, or a custom design, Romika Laser Engraving will help you make your mark. And the best part, our prices are affordable and our turnaround time is quick.
I couldn't be happier with the work Romika Laser Engraving did for me. The engraving on my product was precise and exactly what I wanted.
So don't wait any longer to add a personal touch to your products. Call Romika Laser Engraving and Custom Designs today at 817-400-4040 or visit our website at romikadesigns.com. We look forward to helping you make your mark. You're listening to Joco Community Radio.
Hello, Jobfather family. We are so excited to be a part of North Texas Radio. Formerly, Joco Community Radio is a member of EMG, a radio and podcast collective, proudly serving all of North Texas. We are live 365 on the TuneIn Radio Network and on our station app. Download it for free and check out our lineup and more at nxtradio.com. We thank our valued partners in helping us amplify the voices of North Texas. Be sure to connect with Todd Hurd and Associates, attorney at law, if you have any civil law needs. Also, you can use the code JOCO2024 for 25% off your first order at thetiffy.com for processing credit cards. Join Swipe Nation today and save on those swipe fees. Well, we are very excited to be a part of North Texas Radio. We have a jam-packed show ready to go for today. We're very excited about our guests, but before we get started, let's bow our head for a quick prayer. Father God, thank you for the privilege of being here to serve the job seeker and job transition community. We've all been at some point in our lives in a job transition or seeking a job, and we just ask that you would open up amazing opportunities for every individual in the community, as well as use us to further the knowledge and wisdom on job seeking, job transitioning, resumes, interview coaching, networking, all the things that we can do to help support our listeners. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Awesome. Well, we have got an awesome lineup today. And guests, please feel free to hop in at any time, whether it's the first or second half of the show. Foster, any announcements or ridiculous dad jokes on your end?
We've got, hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning, North Texas.
Good morning.
Good morning, North Texas. The whole world, to be honest with you. Monia and you guys are in Italy. So, hey, down there in Rome, what is going on? So, guys, I'm excited. Probably over the last, and Ralph may have seen the last month and a half, Dana, we have had a multitude
yes.
landing. We had 10 landings yesterday at South Lake Focus Group announced. And that's pretty cool because this year off a little slow. Now we're starting to catch up. Now, next announcement I want to make is see me and Dana's different background. told you guys the last couple of weeks that this radio growing. It's growing tremendous now. We're a part of the group. So you guys are going to be seeing us pop up all over the place. Have studios here and there. Dana and I are going to be talking about all sorts of things. So excited about that. And you know what, guys? I'm going to, before I introduce Ralph, I'm going to tell you guys, I got a good one this morning. Dana, I got a good dad joke. Did you guys get that Amber
We'll be the
Alert
judge
on
of that,
your
my
phone
friend.
about the
Let's
new
see what we
kidnapping?
got.
I know. So, did you guys get that
What?
Amber Alert this morning about that new kidnapping?
No.
That new kidnapping here in Texas. It was, I think, well, it's okay. He woke up. See, y'all are working on that one. I wish Tiffany Paisley was with us. Kidnapping, you guys. See, Ralph got it.
You are so bad, Foster.
Hey, this is the dad joke corner. That's what time this is right now. So thank you guys.
Bad dad joke
all
corner.
All you people that have landed, thank you guys for landing. Thank you for being part of this network. Thank you guys for coming on this morning. And you know what? This network continues. We have people like Ralph. That's Ralph Chapman right there, guys, that you see. I'm all Ralph. What you got going on? You got any new searches or anything? So owns HR Search Pros, guys. So what he does, he's eye to eye a lot of times. Yeah. And Ralph focuses on HR stuff. Now, we're going to talk about what the stuff is, because HR is not the only area that Ralph his clients end up asking him to recruit people for. So, hey, Ralph, let's talk to Ralph.
Hey.
How are you, Ralph? Tell us all about HR Search Pros. Tell us what you got going on, what's hot right now, all that, whatever you want to tell us. Just load us up.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of what you're seeing, and forgive me, I'm fighting a cold, but yeah, I mean, I focuses in HR. I'm in Northeast Texas where I live, but work throughout the U.S. Any industry, any size company, but we're seeing a lot of activity. But it's a weird time. Like a lot of folks that are calling, hey, I can't find anything. A lot of companies, we can't find anybody. It just seems to be a big disconnect, is what we're noticing. But we are seeing more opportunities in the area as well as nationwide, all sorts of industries, all sizes of companies. So we're super excited about that, and we're very blessed. A lot of great companies that we've been able to partner with. But yeah, it seems to be just an interesting time, and I think a lot of times the companies are, and I'll give you an example. So I had a remote HR director job. I had 5,000 people apply in 3 weeks for that one job.
Oh,
but
wow.
Of that 5,000, like 4,100 didn't have any HR experience, and so it's just it's just tough. I mean, and companies are seeing that too. I'll talk to companies that get, you go on LinkedIn, 7,000 people have applied, but so many of them just don't have the background. And so it's just, like I said, it's just a weird dynamic going on out there now. So,
Ralph, I would say, I think some of what we're seeing is anytime a position is fully remote, everybody and their extended family members and their pets' extended family members are applying, because the market is going through a shift, for a couple years after COVID, 1 or 2 years after COVID, people were still working heavily remote. Companies are slowly trying to change that trend and bring people back into the office for roles that were previously, corporate office roles. And we've noticed that kind of this settling point right now is hybrid. So, you can, if it's the type of role where you can work from home, you get a few days a week at home, a few days in the office, everyone's happy. But from time to time, companies are still allowing people to work fully remote. And when they do, there's always going to be a lot more applicants. So for our job seekers, if there's any way to be able to work hybrid or in office, you're going to have a lot more opportunities to pursue than you will if you're looking completely remote, because as you can see, And even back a year ago when I was job seeking, I would notice that any of the roles that were fully remote would have close to 1,000 applicants. Not that all of them were qualified. And then the ones that were either hybrid or on site, much less, probably under 200.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. We've seen that as we talk with companies, and we've picked up a lot of searches. Just companies like we've got, we just can't look through all this. And you think about, these larger brand name companies have all these jobs, and everybody's applying, and that it's like this AI. Like it was funny. I'm always checking my emails. I had a gentleman send me his resume. It was like 10:30 at night, and I responded, thanks so much. I'll review your resume. And I got this nasty, I'm so sick of these automated chatbots. And I'm like, I'm a human, and it's just such a frustration on the candidate side. You'll send a resume like 5 seconds later, they're turned down. And it's like, how can you review it? And again, in the HR space has been very interesting over the 18 years. I see 16 in my video. That's when I started my company, but it's been about 18, the HR focus. And it used to be relative. There are a couple titles, similar jobs, but now the titles all over the place, the requirements all over the place, terms are getting tossed around like business partner, that HR business partner, that can be everywhere from 80K to 225. Just depends on what the company's in. And that makes it a challenge too for the candidates, that talent management, talent development, all those different kind of unique spaces. It's just different. And I think we're seeing that just across industries, across areas. Job titles are just all over the place, and it's a challenge. And I always encourage folks, applying, think about weird titles, look at different things, and don't just necessarily focus. Oh, I've been a director or a generalist or whatever. It can be everything, and don't let a title dissuade you. Like I had a company call one time, an HR specialist. Well, I'm thinking, recent college grad. Well, their idea, no, 25 years. And so you really got to dig deep in the job description to see, what exactly are they looking for. So it's, and as y'all know, but it's just a weird dynamic in time for sure.
Yeah, I would say, for job seekers that are out in the market looking, don't get discouraged by how many people are applying, as hard as it is, because remember, there are a lot of people that spray and pray. They just throw resumes everywhere and hope something lands, which is one of the worst strategies a job seeker can have. As a job seeker, try to make sure you have at least 60% or more of the qualifications listed and experience and qualifications listed in the job description. Depending on the type of job, if something's listed as required versus preference, it's going to be required there. And so, keep that in mind when you're making decisions on what to apply for. And don't get discouraged. There's so many people that aren't very familiar. But keep in mind, all of us, Foster and I, and most of us on the call, I mean, we're on the HR side of the table to where we're handling talent acquisition day in and day out. So we see some really unique things, which is why we want to share this information with you and those of you that aren't on our side of the table, because it can be a little bit more encouraging to know, okay, lots of people are going to apply that aren't qualified. Don't let that discourage you. Second of all, read the job description thoroughly, make sure it's a good fit. While there's some standardization of job titles, there are no regulations within the United States that require companies to label things a certain way, unless it's a federal contractor. That's a different story, right? If you're working in a government sector, jobs are aligned very differently than they are in the public sector. So read the job description. Make sure your resume is somewhat reflective and matches what you are applying to. And that your work history is your work history, but you can play around with your skills section and make sure whatever skills you're advertising, you're showing in the resume where you got them from. That is so critical. So what would you say, I'd just be curious, for all of our panel today, challenges when looking at job opportunities, anything that has kept you from applying or has concerned you when you're looking at positions to apply to?
Well, I think, and back to your point too about the don't be dissuaded by the number of people, because when I talk to companies, typically anywhere from 70 to 80 to 90% of the people don't have the experience.
Mhm.
So, if you're the one person that does, and that's
Boy, isn't
great.
that the truth? Yes.
But yeah, yeah, it's a whole host of things. I think a lot of times, people like I work with a lot of companies that are kind of mid-size that aren't brand names.
Yeah.
And so sometimes people don't, everybody goes to GE and Disney and all that kind of stuff, but you don't think about these other little companies. Like I work with a company based out of Connecticut. They're a global company. They're the world's largest spring manufacturer, but I've worked with them for 20 years, even before I got
Oh,
in
wow.
HR. And I think I've had 2 candidates in 20 years that I've ever heard of them, but their competitors GE, and they run an ad, GE runs an ad, GE wins, and so don't, kind of keep an eye out for, maybe the smaller companies or mid-sized companies or not the brand name companies. I think that's it. And I think a lot of assumptions, go and read about reviews and, oh, it's a terrible company. And, in reality that one or two people had a bad experience, and like I had a
That's
client one
right.
time
That's
that
right.
had a horrible review, but the guy had been fired because he did something illegal. He neglected to say that in his review. But so there's just so many things. But I think a lot of people, hey, I've got to keep this title. Assumptions are made on compensation. Hybrid. Like I've got hybrid jobs that are once a quarter or 4 days a week. It's hard, and unless they specify it, some people. But I have a lot of people I'm talking to. It's got to be remote, and we've seen a plummet in those jobs, and in particular in the HR space, where we're kind of there to
Boy, we
be with the
have,
people.
haven't we? Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's just so many
Exactly.
different things,
Exactly.
and just a lot of frustration, on the candidate side. It's like, why
Yeah.
should I apply? They're not going to call me. It's like, well, you can't. It's easy for me on this side to say this, but you can't give up. You've got to keep plugging
No.
away.
Yeah.
So,
And what candidates need to realize is that the right door is going to open, right?
yep.
And so sometimes, you don't want to just spray and pray, but sometimes you have to work the process to get there.
Yes.
And you
Oh, for
do.
sure.
And, I will say for the first time in my life, last April, post COVID, I found myself a part of an enormous company wide global layoff. And I'd never been laid off before. And Foster knows this because he's known me for 20 years. I've always been blessed within a week to 2 weeks to already be in a new job. Well, I was out for 4 months,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
grateful
You were
that
out for 4 months.
but I was grateful it was only 4 months, because a lot of people are out, closer to a year or more, and that's okay. That doesn't mean, that has no reflection necessarily of your worth or who you are as a candidate.
Yeah.
It depends on the career field you're in, the types of positions that you're applying to. Certain areas are more in demand than others, but
Yep.
you've got to play the numbers game. You've got to
Yep.
apply.
That's right.
And I just want to speak to something that was said earlier. The fact that the candidate responded to you, I'm sick of these automated messages. I don't care. Two things.
I know.
Okay, that is how you stay unemployed. I'm just going to be honest. Okay. So 2 things. Don't go on LinkedIn, because I would see these feeds and I did not participate in them. Do not go on LinkedIn and participate in complaint feeds about how many jobs or have all these applicants, or don't ever put yourself out there with negative connotations. So when you see that stuff going on, don't comment. Stay out of it.
No, don't
Second
do that.
of all, don't bite the hand that feeds you. So if you're applying to jobs, no matter how frustrated you are, you keep that to yourself and your mama. Okay. You don't go in and upset the employer by saying, I'm sick of these automated messages.
Yeah.
There is no physical way a human being can get back to every applicant in every job and still do their job all day. And that is not just their job. Their job is to actually fill jobs, and they have metrics, they have performance indicators, they have time frames, they have to set up interviews, and often juggle anywhere from 20 something to 50 something roles and all of the applicants that apply. So we do have to use AI. We do have to use AI, and we do have to use our applicant tracking systems in order to function as efficiently as possible. And I get the frustration. Trust me, I got plenty of automated messages, tons of automated messages. It's frustrating. I get it. but don't let that affect your job search.
Yeah. And one point I would say too, and preaching to the choir, but the resumes, like I had a gentleman send me his resume and said, hey, I'm very interested in your HR director job. Here's my resume. And the first 3 bullet points are all about benefits. You know, I created this benefit program, did this benefit, and those were great things. But as I got him on the phone, I said, you know, if you're going for more of a general job, don't talk about benefits. You know, they're going to stop reading if by some miracle the Lord to get it past the tracking system. You know, so that's what I tell folks. You know, you've got to really look at, in my opinion, you've got to really look at the job and kind of like you talked about. You know, making sure you're highlighting those skills. And again, not to mislead. If you haven't done it, don't list it for goodness sake. You know, but if you've done it, don't. And then the job says, hey, we want to build a whole new HR department. Well, if you've done that, get that on there first. And I know it's a pain to tweak the resume, you know, but I tell folks, you know, if you just spend 5, 10, 15 minutes doing that, it can make all the difference in the world, you know. And I've had a lot of people too that have been reaching out to me, say, hey, I saw this job, got 10,000 applicants. I don't want to apply. Do you know anybody? Well, I know this person. And not that I can magically get an offer for somebody, but sometimes we can go in and say, hey, we'd like to help out and do that. But again, applying directly, I just hope that you gotta take that time, you know, look at what's the mission statement, what's the job description saying, because then the other thing, which everybody will be excited to hear, you know, we'll pick up a job. I talk to the hiring manager and they're like, well, here's the top 10 things. I'm like, none of them are on the job description. Could be why you're not getting the right candidates.
Exactly.
So it's so hard.
Yeah.
You know, the poor candidates are applying based on this, but that's not what they want. You know,
well, that's an oversight on the company side. Like all responsibility.
Ralph just said something that piqued my interest, and I'm sure that my interest is the only one that's piqued from hearing that. So, you know, Ralph, this is why we have a network. Now, Ralph will post a job. Sometimes Ralph may have 500, 600, 700 applicants. Do you guys honestly think with everything that Ralph is working on that he's got time to go through all of those applications? Now, if Foster calls and says, hey, Ralph, I forwarded you, or I suggested that this lady Dana apply for this job, and what I do will say, this is why she's a good fit for that job. She shared that with me, and I know Dana, and I've got Dana. Here's our word: relationship with her. I'm always throwing that word at you guys. What do you guys think Ralph is going to do? Ralph is going to go in the middle of all of those. Every submission, these guys are going to find Dana, and he's going to consider Dana. Now, that doesn't mean that Dana's going to get the job, but at least she gets noticed for that opportunity. And I want to take this time also I've got my homegirl, Audra Wilkes, down in Waco with us, Dana. And let's see who else I see. Heidi.
You're the biggest squirrel ever.
Dustin Williams is with us. Hey, Deborah Kurtz. Deborah, I bet you know Ralph. I bet you guys have talked. Deborah is a senior level executive that a long time ago I suggested that she connect with you, Ralph. And and our main man over the Jewish Family Services is with us. Where did he go?
Jay Hop. What's up?
Hey, buddy. Yeah, anyway, so I'm being a squirrel, but I wanted to say, guys, this is why we network. This is why we do it. Ralph just told you guys a while ago how many applications he'll get, especially, guys, if the job is remote. Now, understand why we don't want it to be that way, all of us, but understand why we don't see as many remote jobs as before. We still see plenty, and Ralph posts them. But you know what? To go back to the office, you guys. Hey,
well, honestly, I think that's the best thing is people just have to be open-minded to the market, right? And I know it can be frustrating, and there's a lot of blessings about working from home, but there's also blessings about a collaborative in-office environment as well. Most companies are, depending on the level of the role and the type of the role, looking at a hybrid.
Right.
Like I went from working for about 5 or 6 years, fully remote, to I'm in office 4 days a week, work from home 1 day a week, sometimes 2 days a week. And, you know, I just told myself, hey, listen, this is a great opportunity, a great company. I am so thankful. And I'm just going to have to embrace the fact that the market is shifting.
But I think Dana, so much of it is just looking at it that way.
percentage of you guys' jobs are remote? Would you say, Dana? What percentage?
20% or less.
But you
No, you're fine.
20% or
20% or less.
less.
See there? Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. The
Okay,
majority,
I'm
and
shutting up,
again,
Ralph.
it depends on the type of role.
I could Ralph off.
No, you're
That's
fine.
right. It does
No,
depend
and I agree.
on the type of role, guys. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a lot of factors.
Guys,
I know,
again,
like prior to COVID, we didn't have a lot of that at all with HR. So,
with that, yeah. Guys, again, we are with Ralph Chapman. He is the owner of HR Pros. That's kind of easy to figure out there. Guys, go to hrsearchpros.com. Did I get it right, Ralph? Go to
you got it right.
hrsearchpros.com
Yeah.
and connect. If you're in HR, believe me, you want to connect with Ralph.
And I have to apologize if y'all can hear
today.
some loud noise.
Yeah, we're hearing it.
Yeah, I am so sorry.
Okay,
I'm trying
Dana,
to mute, but yeah, everything is silent and perfect. And then the second the show starts, there's some sort of construction project going on outside my apartments. And I'm like, I mean, it was quiet all morning. And I'm like, what is this? So, my apologies. I just wanted to let everybody know I don't have the TV on in the background.
Well, it's not so loud that we can't hear each other. That's what's important.
Well,
but
it
again,
goes
guys,
in and out. I don't know. Woo.
It is in and out. Again, guys, we are with Ralph Chapman of HR Search Pros. Go to HR check out what Ralph is recruiting for, see what's going on. But Ralph is one of those guys that takes the time to connect personally. If you reach out to him, he wants to get to know you. How can he submit you? How can he endorse you if he doesn't know you? So, guys, if you fit something that Ralph is looking for, let's talk. Let's get in contact with Ralph. I can get you in contact with Ralph.
That's right. Well, it's really exciting
awesome.
that we're able.
Because, Ralph, do you ever run across any recruiting opportunities?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And we're super excited to say that we are starting to see more of those.
Any recruitment or talent.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, we're seeing more and more of those roles, which is exciting to me in general, because you're not going to hire recruiters if you're not looking to hire people.
You muted.
But yeah, we're starting to see a big uptick on those, and sometimes they're remote, sometimes they're not. But we are starting to see a couple more of those. Got some calls right now. We're just kind of waiting for final word. But I think we'll see what's going on.
We hear the music. We'll see you on the other half, team. We've got Robert Van Orman coming up.
School choice. Sweet-sounding words from sweet-sounding groups like the American Federation for Children. Well, the truth is alarming. These are the people caught marketing private school vouchers to illegal immigrants in Arizona. And they want to do the same in Texas. But Dwayne Burns said no. And that's why they're targeting him in this election. The voucher program they're pushing is a magnet for illegal immigration. Fully qualified to receive these $10,000 vouchers, illegal aliens would go to the front of the line ahead of U.S. citizens. These groups want to replace Dwayne Burns with a rubber stamp, and they've got one in Helen Kerwin. Kerwin has pledged to support this voucher scheme if elected, but we can't let that happen. Dwayne Burns' top priority is border security. He's stopped taxpayer-funded handouts to illegal aliens. And he's endorsed by every law enforcement association in Texas. Political ad paid for by the Dwayne Burns campaign.
Hey, travelers, do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call, because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at ridiculously low prices. Our prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find ridiculously low prices for you. Call SmartFares today and get the best price on your next flight. Guaranteed. Also, save up to 50% off business and first class tickets.
855-325-1820. 855-325-1820. That's 855-325-1820.
Joco Community Radio. Listen live at tunein.com.
Good morning, Jobfather Nation. Welcome back to the second half of the show. Just a reminder, we are now North Texas Radio, formerly Joco Community Radio. And we are a proud member of EMG, a radio and podcast collective, proudly serving all of North Texas. We are live 365 on the TuneIn Radio Network and on our station app. Just download it for free. Check it out. You can look at our entire lineup and choose what you want to listen to and when at ntxradio.com. We thank our valued partners in helping us amplify the voices of North Texas. Well, we are excited to be back for the second half of the show. Ralph, thank you for your time on the first half. Mm-hmm. The second half, we are excited to highlight Robert Van Orman. And Robert comes to us with an extensive background in sales, experience in project and account management. In addition, he has a creative side to him, an intensive culinary background. Robert is an expert at building and maintaining professional relationships with his clients, which is lent to him a very successful career in sales, proven track record, in addition to extensive project management experience, managing all of the accounts and managing all the things that go into keeping your stakeholders happy. Robert is looking to continue to build and grow upon those project management skills and sales, which comes along with a lot of professional account management, and looking to continue to grow that background and experience, which is already extremely impressive. Robert, so good to have you on the second half of the show. Welcome to the Jobfather.
Good morning. Thank you. I'm so grateful to be on here. This is going to be a new experience for me, so I am super excited.
Yeah. Well, we're excited to have you as well. And typically what we like to do with the second half of the show, most of our regulars know that we like to, so we're nationwide. We're not only based here in here in Texas. We have listeners and job seekers and company hiring managers all throughout the United States and globally in a number of different companies. So our goal on the first half is to bring an expert on to share knowledge and wisdom around all things job seeking and job transitioning and new tools and techniques and treasures. The second half, we like to bring on an individual to showcase their skills, their background, whether they are looking for a new job or they're transitioning and wanting to network and transition. So Robert, share a little bit with us. Some of your passions in terms of your background and the types of roles, like some titles and what types of things you would be doing in your ideal role.
So I've had a lot of experience with customer service and building customer relationships. I was in the, as you mentioned, I have a culinary degree. I was in the restaurant business for 21 years.
Wow.
In that industry, I realized that by taking care of a
Oh, wow.
client
Wow.
and building that relationship, you actually have the ability to not only benefit you, but benefit the client themselves. And so by getting to know my clients, getting to know what they do, what they love, what they're about, I'm able to connect them with other people in my environment that allows them to grow as people, as well as it provides for my employer the opportunity to, like, anybody you help wants to come back to the place they've been helped.
Oh yeah.
So for me as a bartender, as one of my previous roles, I always kept my bar
Yeah.
full because it was always about building those relationships, putting those people with other people. And, if you can get this person who doesn't have anything to talk about with the person beside them to talk to somebody on the other side of the bar who has a lot to say about something they are talking about,
Yeah.
it builds that environment that's just very warm and very inviting, and you want to come back to it. And so I
Yeah.
never had a problem keeping a
Yeah, you
bar
do.
full.
Yep.
Um, in fact, I got the current position I have because of my networking skills and my ability to talk to people, have conversations, build relationships. And in that as well, moving into the job I have now, I got Customer Advocate of the Year for 2023 through the whole company. Where
Congrats.
I work for a nationwide roofing company currently, and there's a matrix, which was great because it's not just opinion based. Their matrix showed that I actually had the most positive reviews from all of the clients whom I serviced and interacted with. So
Wow.
it spoke a lot towards one of my gifts that God's given me about being able to just really listen to my customers
Right.
and find out what it is they're actually looking for, find out what their goals are, and not only meet it, but exceed it. So,
Wow. That is wonderful. So and when it's a natural passion and a gift, like you said, it's easy to take that skill and I guess you could say build positive experiences. So, what kind of ideal roles are you looking for? Just to kind of give us an idea and give our listeners an idea. You've got this extensive background in sales, customer support, and then through your current role, you've been doing some project management, managing all of these accounts and everything that goes along with the life cycle of the sale. Tell us a little bit about what you're looking for.
Oh, yeah.
so I love the idea of being the person that everyone wants to connect with. I like to be that person that, I have a lot of
Too.
customers who reach out to me and they need certain contractors or certain skill sets that they're looking for. Not always, I don't always have in my company. That's just not something we deal with, but I love to send that information out. So just being more hands-on with the clients. I also love like getting my hands dirty. I love working on a project. I love problem solving. I like, somebody recently said that, if there's not a problem, there's not innovation. And so that
True.
for
True. That's a
companies,
good point.
like
Yeah.
there's a lot of opportunity for growth, but where do we see opportunities to grow? So I love being a part of the problem solving skills. I loved when I was in the restaurant industry, like we'd have clients that come in with just these ideas of how they would like their events to go. And, I've got to take the tools that I have to take the products that I have, and I have to really hone them into and provide that. And that's what made me a great bartender, is like listening to the client. What do they enjoy? What experience are they looking for? What's the environment they're trying to go for? What kind of foods do they enjoy? What are they allergic to? These are things that, if you're not paying attention, you're not asking the right questions, then
Yeah.
you're making assumptions for your client, and there's more of an opportunity to fail in that situation.
Ooh, that's a good
Whereas,
analogy.
Yeah.
so I love the opportunity for, I don't like to be, every job I've ever worked, I've gotten control of my own finances a little bit, because the harder I work, the more I get paid.
Right.
And that's why last year I sold $1.4 million, is because I was like, how hard can I work? Where do I see the opportunities? Where can I go? And then, nothing's going to stop me. So I I went all over the states. I went to Arkansas. I went to Florida after Hurricane Ian. I've been over all of Texas.
Wow.
I even did an inspection for somebody in Oklahoma, and just because they reached out.
Oh
And
man.
so, yeah, I got a chance to go see Broken Bow. So I was like, oh,
Oh
let me do this
yeah.
inspection and go check out some national
man.
parks. But yeah,
It's a nice
I love
area.
it is. I
Broken Bow's
love
got good.
just
Don't know if you do that or not, Robert. It's got good fly fishing.
they have good rocks too. We went, me and my wife, when we were going through our marriage, beginning our engagement, we found these rocks that were down there that were like quartz and crystals, and then there's some slates, and we actually
didn't
used
know
those
that.
rocks for our marriage, no, for our wedding colors. And so what we saw
Oh,
there
wow.
was an inspiration. So it was cool.
That's awesome.
You know,
Um,
Robert, you look
Wow.
into things, and of course, where you are and do, you would be the perfect person to represent a company, because not only are you you're trying to consider what this company may need to buy from you, but you get involved in the operations of making sure that they get them. A lot of times
Yeah, that's a good point.
people that have been out there for a little while, like me and Dana, and we get sold all kind of stuff, and then problem is it doesn't do it ends up not doing what they sold you. They told you this wonderful thing, and it half, it half operates, and that's not gonna go. That's not good. You're not gonna retain. You're not gonna retain clients. You're not gonna retain companies like that. So, guys, I want you with us so you guys can get a chance to touch on his personality and what he brings. If you guys hire, he's going to be the one that most of the people probably are going to want to reach out to, and that's the person they want to have
Yeah.
out there representing you. Okay, I'm gonna shut up now.
Well, I think
So-
it just makes a difference for like Robert. I think you'd be great with project management because that person is kind of championing everyone around them and getting all of the stakeholders engaged to complete a project. And I can see why you were successful with that in the roofing industry.
So I think that my job is to take on the responsibility of the whole thing, to see it from
Yeah.
front to end. I'm not just the guy who's going to sell you the product.
right.
I want to be the guy to make sure that we're implicating the product correctly and then also servicing it at the end if you do have a problem. I have a client that I've been I've been working with for a year, and he just reached out to me last week, and he's like, hey, my gutters are overflowing from my house and they've never done this before. Well, we upgraded his roof product and there's not as much granules, so the water's coming off faster. So last week I sent out my gutter company at our cost, not theirs, to ensure that the product, that we fix that problem, because it's not just about in and out. It's about relationship. It's about building that long term, because I don't know what's going to turn out from that relationship later. I know he's recommended me to multiple people, and he's taken me into environments that I would normally not get invited into because of the work and the quality of work that I provided. And
that's awesome.
that's one of those things about, even when I was a bartender, when you get to know your client, they want to spend time with you. They want to invite you out. They want you to be able to relax with them as well as do work with them. So those are important. I also love being in an environment where people are passionate about what they do. The restaurant, the bar that I used to work in, we created our own cocktails, and it was great to be able to work with somebody side by side and be like, hey, what do you think about this cocktail? And then getting their opinion, getting their feedback, and then modifying, and then watching that product come alive, and then giving it to a guest and having them just like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And it's the same in the roofing industry, going into a storm situation where something is wrecked and bad and just like people are distraught, and being able to be that life and that light and that encouragement that everything's going to be okay. I'm here for you. I'm on your side. We're going to get this done. And, if you have any issues, please reach out. Please have a conversation with me. I'm going to do my best to put the right people in front of you at the right time. And so I deal with a lot of subcontractors, and I vet them. I'm like, do you answer your phone? Do you call back when you're supposed to? Do you show up on time? These are all important for the homeowner because they're making their schedule around these people. And so I love to respect people's times, and it's just being a person. What would I want from the person that's servicing me?
Yeah. No, I agree
That's
completely.
right.
And I
That's
think
tremendous.
the fact that you take that, you take that outside perspective, it's like kind of design thinking, and what would it look like to be successful from their perspective? And that's not a skill that everybody has naturally, Robert. So that's great.
It did me well in
everybody
the
doesn't have
restaurant
that
business.
opportunity, do they? Yeah, you learn a lot.
Yeah.
Robert, of course, you and I didn't get in that far into detail, but in college, I was a bartender. I bartended my part of the way through college, and I understand where you're coming from. And guys, you would be surprised if you really dig in. A lot of jobs that you have had that you wouldn't think that would prepare you for a corporate job, an executive job. Those small things, you put them together and you do well with those. And guys, when we're in those interviews, we need to be sharing these experiences that we have that correlate to what that company wants us to do. They're already interested in us, or we wouldn't be in there talking to them to start with. So I see Ralph shaking his head, so I'm doing good because Ralph, I'm watching Ralph out there.
I know, right? It makes a difference.
Well, and it's funny you said that because no, and it's so important because like people, well, 20 years ago I did this, and I've had multiple times where we'll have a company that, restaurant, retail, or whatever industry, and it's been a while since the person's been in it, but when they were in school or when they were in high school or before, whatever, they had that experiences, and people, oh, it's been so long ago. It's like companies, but you did it, and you can apply, and you
That's
understand that, and I think it's great to be able to share those examples, and so true. And I always laugh and I say mutual funds, past performance doesn't guarantee future results, but in your job history, it does. If you've done it before and done it well, you're going to do it again. And all those things kind of come together. And so you want to be able to highlight those
again,
things.
you don't know any better.
Yeah, highlight those things. Exactly. Highlight those things because it speaks to that. So I think, Robert, that's a great example that you could talk about, whether it was yesterday or 10 years ago. It's still something you did and shows that you're that networker, that connector. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Robert, if you're thinking about the types of roles you want to go into, what kind of titles would those roles have?
So, I've honestly never looked for titles. I've always looked for what can I bring to the company and do I fit the role that they're asking for? I do like the idea of project management because it's taking on that project. It's making sure that everything gets done correctly. It's taking ownership of it. I do know in the current field I'm in that there is a lack of responsibility from some of the contractors in making sure that all of the work is quality. They come in, they do whatever they can, and then they jump out and they're nowhere to be found. Whereas if you had the proper project manager handling that issue and ensuring that all the steps are going through well, everything is taken on, then the project at the end is a good quality project. You don't have to disappear because you're afraid that somebody's going to find out the poor quality of work that you've provided later, and you can't. And it's easier to service that client later because you've already know everything that's going on. And so I like that. I also like sales because there's that connection with. It's about listening to the person and finding out what they really need and providing what they need, not what we think they want. And so when I know
That's a
that
good point.
I know that companies really want, sales and money and all of, and those are great options. But if you're really passionate about the job that you have and the product that you're offering, you shouldn't have to worry about that because the product will speak for itself. So
that's a good point.
I mean, when I worked in the restaurant industry, I would have people that just come in and have club soda and maybe have an appetizer, and their tab's $5 and whatever. But at the end of the day, the reason they're coming in is because the environment's welcoming, because of the ambiance of the situation, because I'm there talking to them. And,
good.
There's something about that, and then they bring their friends later, and then they bring their coworkers out to that place, and then you're building your business off of that situation.
Oh yeah.
And all you had to do was do the right thing with the person and not look at them as a dollar, but look at them as a person and say, what can I do to ensure that the experience they get is the same as the person that's over here spending $1,000?
Hello.
So
man, that was well said. Because sometimes, you can get vibes off of people that don't have that. Yeah, exactly. Which is so important.
And so somebody said about the product, and that is also another thing coming from where if you're not educated on what you're offering and what you're doing, then you're not doing your company a service and you're not doing your client a service. I have people from the bar industry who were very particular about the spirits they enjoyed and the drinks they enjoyed. And we would have a new product that would come in and I'd be like, oh, this is going to be great for this person. And maybe a little more expensive, and it may be something that they may want to only enjoy every once in a while, but getting the opportunity to offer that to them and make that decision for themselves. One of the best things somebody told me in sales was don't sell out of your own pocketbook. I don't know what you have available to you. I don't know what you're looking for. You may have not communicated that at some other point because the trust hasn't been built. And so by building that trust with that relationship, now I can know, hey, they normally drink this because this is just what they enjoy. But
exactly.
People won't buy from people they don't trust. I mean, in the roofing business, like that is 100%. Contractors have been voted the least trustworthy people. So
that is it right there.
So I really just like to be real with people, be honest with people. And one of my big key factors is having integrity. I'm not just here to give you what the company wants. I'm here to give you what you need for where you're at. And the company will be fine. The company will benefit from it. And there's so many stories I have of just people who have reached back out to me continuously. And year after year, I do private events for people because of the quality of service. And then those relationships have led to other relationships. And so I did like the fact that, talking about sometimes the people can get you into places that you are struggling with. And so when a reputable reputation goes to another relationship and puts their name on the board for you, then that holds value. So if you are a job seeker and somebody has reached out for you, make sure that you put your best foot forward, because somebody else's reputation is on the line in that situation as well.
Yep, that is such a good point, Robert. I like the fact that the relationships have led into other opportunities.
What I is to get people. Did I get in?
Can y'all hear me okay?
Yes.
We're running into technical issues.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Mine is. Can you guys hear me?
I think we can hear you.
You were trying to say something, but
I think there's a delay.
One thing that we try to do here on this show, there is. Tiffany said there is. And guys, Robert's, and that's being we live in a world that everybody is trying to sell us something. Everybody's got that creates a opportunity for us to get out there and be that person that is trusted. I like what that is very important as we're building and we're getting jobs. And some of us, Dana and I'll be with you and probably before the end of the year about opportunities to start your own company, given what's going on in the network today. But the number one thing, guys, is somebody going to be real with me? There's a whole market getting sold everything, y'all.
Yeah, that's true. Sincerity and genuineness go so far. And what I was trying to say earlier, Robert, is I'm really impressed with the fact that people you've provided such a good experience that people continue to open up the door for you and opportunities continue to flow. And that is why it would behoove anybody to hire Robert if they have an opportunity that would accentuate his skill sets. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate
I know
all the companies always say that that's what they're looking for, but all the companies always say this is what we're looking for, but in the end, everybody's playing the game. Everybody's trying to sell something. Y'all, come on now, let's walk it out. This network, I meet people like Ralph. Ralph, it will connect with you. Ralph will tell you what's going on, as we say, and that's what we need when we don't have a job and we're needing to connect. We're needing to get or further our careers. You want somebody to tell you what's going on. I want the real on it. I don't want to be sold an idea. So this is where we are. I thank you so much.
Real quick, Foster. Yeah. Sorry to interrupt, but I want to find out, Robert, how can people get in touch with you? What is the best way to reach you?
So I am on my email every day working with clients. So Robert Van Orman at Yahoo is a great opportunity. The LinkedIn I provided earlier, I am currently working on right now, and I'm welcome to have a conversation. So if you'd like to give me a call, my phone number is 682-597-5489. Please reach out, and I love to just have conversations. So even if I'm not the right person for you, I may still just love to connect with you and see if I can figure out who may be good for you. So.
Oh, Robert, that's awesome.
That's right.
Well, wow. Perfect timing. I think I hear the music. Well, Robert, we're so excited that you were on the show, and Ralph, same to you.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, and I think that today was one of our best shows. We have gotten some quality individuals, Jobseeker Network and Job Hiring Network. Please reach out to Ralph, reach out to Robert. We have just got some great things going on, and it's all about building relationships.
Yes.
Foster missed the prompt. And Tiffany did put Robert's email address and LinkedIn up there as well.
Thank you so much.
Well,
thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, Ralph.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Robert.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Remember Helen Kerwin? As county commissioner, she raised the tax rate over 95%, increased taxes, utility rates, connection fees, and pushed to give the state even more taxing authority. Well, Helen Kerwin's back, handpicked by the Washington swamp to push a voucher scheme that takes funds away from our local schools and gives taxpayer-funded private school vouchers to illegal immigrants. They'd even go to the front of the line ahead of U.S. citizens and legal